Hello beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonal and today we are taking a look at how to attack Hollywood as Tracer. This was requested, so of course we're doing it. If you want to see any other heroes on any other maps, then drop those down in the comments or go onto a Discord server and ask me there and just send it into the request. You can tag me, whatever, and I'll try to add it to our to-do list. Also, if you have any feedback on the format of how I'm doing this, if you think it's how you want it different or you don't really like it that much, then also please tell me that and I'll make sure to try to change it or alter it at least. I think that this is a pretty nice way of me running through it and recording while I play and record it, but if there's any other ideas that you guys have, I would gladly hear. Okay, so what you want to do is, as you see here, you can either go through main right here, and then of course watch out for fire strike, but after there's a trap in here. And normally you can either take the top right over here. Normally this doesn't matter too much if you do or don't. Because that is not really what you're looking for the offense. Just make sure that there's no one behind you. Normally, there isn't though. There's turrets over here. Normally, this place a torpedo turret over here. You want to just destroy that quickly if there is. And then we start on the offense. Now, there are of course 3 ways you can do. You can go through this very small room right here. And then go over here and then you can go behind the enemy team. From here, you can play a lot side inside of cafe. You can maybe take the high ground, take a fight up here. And make sure of course you have the blink to get back to your team if needed. Playing around in the background is a good way to just distract the enemy overall. And make sure that, you know, the enemy team is focused on you instead of your team. They might chase you, but that's a little bit more high skill Tracer. You need to have good accuracy so you can quickly win a 1v1 or damage someone. You want to poke and be irritating, so you also need to have good evasive skills so you just don't get all of a sudden just destroyed by a random enemy. Now, the second thing you could do while you're here in main is you can flank to the left. Normally, this is done if your team is advancing through main right here. You'll go up here. There's a mega there you can use as sustain. And then you do very similar. You stand here, you play around. You can play around this garbage can right here. You can play around the crates. It's really irritating to get to you, but you are kind of in effective range. If your team is pushing, a lot of time they will back up around here to the point. So when you're here, you can easily shoot people in the back. A lot of times supports back up into the cafe or into the corners in here. And then you can essentially just mag them down. You can get a lot of work done here, especially if your team is pressuring them. If your team is getting pushed back, however, you a lot of time will be stuck with 2 options. You can either A, attack them in the back and hopefully draw some of the pressure onto you. A little bit scary if they have people here in hotel, because as soon as you go out here, a soldier or McCree on this high ground can with ease kill you. So what you want to do if that happens, and you might want to instead think of, I'll go through hotel. This is the same as this flank over here, it's just a different way of doing it. Now you are still in hotel, you can contest some people on high ground, you can either fall back into here if you want to, you can go up to the high ground of course, and as always make sure that you can either survive or get back to your team. It takes about 2 to 3 flanks to get all the way back here, so make sure that you have those ready. Then we have the third way of attacking first point, and that's of course either through high ground, which I personally don't like too much. The high ground jump, my problem with it is that, well, you get a lot of time shot from an Ana or a Sen or a soldier or a Kree, whatever is holding up here. So personally, I don't like it. Some people I know do. So of course you can just blink onto here and take a fight or pulse bomb them and then recall back. If you want to, that's an option. If not, then, you know, what I like to do, if I don't go either one of those flank, is I like to hug this wall. If there's no one up there, a lot of time they get shot down if there's people up there. You can, of course, bring a fight up to them if you want to. A lot of time, then I like to go here. I like to hug this wall right here. And then I like to just poke them. And I like to take over here. Of course, this is again reliant on your team to push. If you stand here, they can shoot you from there. They can easily push up straight here. But you do have an escape route, both through here. You have an escape route. You can, if you're really good with your blinks, you can get all the way over here. You normally get chased down if you do though, so watch out for that. Or you can get in there. You can actually get in here if again the enemy team is getting pressured. So this is also a great way, because if the Reinhardt is setting up a shield right around here, right? A lot of time this is around the edge of the point, so the Reinhardt can easily jump back and shield himself. And you get this position, and your team is pushing. You get a big angle on the enemy team, and you can be very hard to hit, right? You can play forward and back, but here you can even go in here and be like, see you suckers, right? So you can play around here with relative ease while the enemy team is struggling and getting pushed back, and this will do that the DPSs, the healers, the tanks are focusing on you instead of focusing on your team. You get a lot of damage in, you can frag solo, and you put off pressure of your team. So this is one of my more favorable moves that I personally like to do if I don't go for these huge flanks. Watch out, of course, there might be a torpedo turret hiding here in the bushes, and if they do, that might be a problem for you. You can, of course, take it down if you come from here. Fire in a mag, You can either recall then, find another mag, or you can go for the pack after that, or whatever you want to do. Then we come to second point. You guys cap the point. That's great. So, normally there will be staggers in that alleyway, but let's say that there isn't. Let's just say that you guys, if the people here chase them down, that's fine. Now, you can either take the high ground or play from the high ground. Of course, this takes time. As you can see, it takes time to travel all the way to the top. And if there's people that can shoot you, watch out for that. Up here, you have high ground control. This is actually really great because the engagement distance here, as you can see of the spread, is very nice. And it's very easy to harass tanks and other peoples from high ground up here. If you can take this, you can essentially play free as long as you have some kind of range heal or someone that can heal you. Because here you can harass most of this choke right here. A lot of times they set up a defensive position here, and you can play on that from most of the high ground, harass them all the way until they start moving back over here. Then it can start being a problem when you only have this one little angle, and it becomes very easy to predict where you're gonna stand. If you don't want to stand and take that high ground, of course you can take alley here and harass them in the back. Make sure though that if they are holding up there, this is like you just captured the point, if they're holding way up there, that you don't get stuck here with low blinks. Right now I have 3 blinks, but if I go up here and I see, oh okay, the enemy team is far back there, and I do this, right? Then I need to use recall to get back, because else I'm stuck, right? I need to wait for that 1 blink, I'll get in here, but I get chased and killed. So when you do these harassment flanks behind, if they're holding very far up, make sure that you either have a lot of blinks and recall, or just do this to harass. Right now, it's easy for me to escape because I can just blink one straight right here, or I can blink in here if I need to. And this is also risky, but at least you're safe, at least a little bit. So fighting around here can be great, but you're not that effective when it comes to DPS advice. So if you want to just stay with your main group, which are low, a lot of people don't have the skill to fight in the backline. The backline fighting, the harassing there, and the way that you kind of like skirmish with them, you attack them, you pull away, you attack, you pull away, can be very difficult for a tracer. You need a good accuracy, you need good strafing, you need good ability management, you need to be able to maybe land the pulse bomb. That's very, very important for those, and not everyone has that side of ability. So if you want to fight through main and your team is pushing up, of course the left side is one of my personal favorite, just because there are this area right here. These haystacks, that's what it's called, is very good for cover, right? If the enemy team is holding the choke here, as they a lot of time do, you can with ease just blink past them here, you can start harassing, make sure you don't get attacked from the back, but if there's a Reinhardt, a lot of time you manage to with ease just recall that out and get away. So just harass here, go here, you can then go from there, sorry about that blink, all the way into here, you can then fight in cafe, you can then take high over here, and now that you have this high ground over here, you can start really utilizing the street phase here. Hide behind here, right? It can be a little bit easy to kill you. Notice that it's way better for you to be up there, it's safer. But you have this nice, you can get to this roof here, harass from there, you can get to this roof here, harass from here, you can go here, right back over here. And this is easy for you. This is very easy harassment. There's low cover, but it's very easy harassment, and it's very good to just put pressure on. There's so many good flanking routes on this map. There's so much you can do with Tracer on this map. And going in the back line, when they start losing this phase, because this phase is very hard to hold, a lot of time when they start holding it, they start going back towards over here. They start getting closer to the third point. They'll set up a defense normally somewhere around here, and then the last defense will be here when they stole the cut. So when they're over here, it's still super nice. If you can get to that high ground, you can hold this high ground over here. Very nice harassing. If not, then you can just fight with your team, go through hotel, which now is locked because skirmish mode is activated. So I can't use that. But you can flank through hotel, right? So you get out this door here. And then you can fight from behind here. Easy harassment. You can spawn camp, ascend that's coming here if you want to. You can shoot them in the back here. And there's so much cover for you. There's so many corners you can hide behind, right? In here, I'll shoot. If they push me here, I'll just blink all the way over here. If they push me more, I'll blink over here. I can then either blink in here, take the health pack, and then harass even more. The guys that are now chasing me is far in the backline. That leaves this main group that will be staying here very, very vulnerable. And I'll apply more and more pressure as it comes. I can just play around here. If I get pushed in here, I can blink easy away if I have enough blinks. And then I can harass here, and then I can get back to my team if I want to. So fighting around jail side is very powerful as Tracer. You can of course also get to the top of the jail pretty easily with a couple of blinks. Again, you don't have that much cover, but it's better than a lot of the other places. Here, you have this big one that you at least can hide a little bit behind. And then you can just stand here and be irritating. And it is very nice to just go here, And you're, okay, cool, there's someone that is shooting from here. I'll fight him, I'll recall back, and I'll get the fuck out, right? So jail is also one of those options that you have, but normally I just like to play around jail side if you personally ask me. Now we're coming into the third phase. You captured the point, everything is great. The enemy team, you kill the saggers, that is normally coming out here. And then squid your sun to push the payload. The high ground itself can be hard for Tracer to control. If you want to control it early on, I recommend that you start very early to do this flank. If they start getting set up with their hit scans and their healers, this room here becomes very hard to get out of. The bridge will be held very easily, and you need to out-frag the enemy team. And it can be hard to do that. So if you absolutely want this high ground, I definitely tell you to take it earlier than later. You can camp here and then wait until someone is, like a McCree, just walks past you over here because he's gonna shoot them from the high ground. So you can camp up here and wait until your team pushes. This is the best way to control that your team does not get screwed by some guy on high ground that is harassing this side of the area. And of course it also works if the enemy team for some reason decides that this is where the choke is supposed to be. Then of course this is super easy for you to just do whatever you want to, bomb them from above or whatever you really want to do. Also a great spot in theory when it starts to become overtime, but notice how long time it took to get to this flank. So you really want, if you want to take this, you need to do it early on. You can't do it when the fight is already on the point. You can't then decide I'll do this flank now. Then you need to help on that point. So that's the first of them, and then besides that, normally fighting around here, use this to harass, is fine, especially if the enemy team holds a little bit too far forward. A lot of time they'll hold here, because of this pillar here is blocking exactly that, but some lower rank team might hold all the way up here, and that gives you, a lot of room. You have the mega, so you can take that as healing, then you don't have to waste your recall, and it's very easy to get out of if you don't do like me and screw up on a pillar. So then you can harass as much as you want. This side is of course also very, very nice to control because of the fact that there's so much again to escape with. You can escape straight over here and hide here and mag someone in there. There is a mega here that you can use. There's a pack over there. There's also, a way to high ground, so you can either actually take high ground or you can juke people by pretending that you'll take high ground. A lot of time this door is unguarded, especially in lower rank, so if you're harassing the enemy team and they're backing off, okay, cool, then a lot of time you can manage to continue to harass them all the way over here, because this is a lot of time not properly guarded, especially in lower ranks. But even higher ranks, they're a lot of time focusing more on the main gate. So here you can then start really getting some nice frags in. And of course this is a great tool for Tracer to play, and again a lot of cover, a lot of stuff you can just continue to dance around, so you can stay around for long times. There's a little pack there you can take, and there are plenty of escape tools from there. You can either escape back down here, you can just like, see ya, don't want to be ya, and then you're out, and there's a mega, and now you're a little bit behind your team, but at least you got out alive. Or if you're here and you get pushed for some reason, you can't back off because there's team and you're starting to get surrounded, you can also blink here and then blink here and then try to use this as your cover. Or you can try to blink all the way behind this bus, maybe pick the mega, and then you can take high ground. You might not even have to take high ground, but if you think how fast you can move compared to them, and they are trying to box you in, I'll just wait for my blinks. If you have move up here, you're harassing the enemy team, someone respawns here and tries to push you, and you say, okay, I'm getting harassed, harass, and then someone comes, and you need to escape, and for some reason, again, you cannot escape this way. Maybe you're afraid that the soldier will kill you if you do, and you're not sure you'll get the heals that you want. You can always blink all the way over here, then over here, and then you kind of need to wait for the blink, and then you need to go for it. And now he cannot kill you. He can only kill you here if he for some reason peeks this area. But a lot of time if you get here, you are safe at least. You're at least safe. And then you of course need to blink here past this to get 100% safe. But if you can get healing, or it wasn't really the fact that you were low, you were just afraid, you didn't want to take that fight, then at least you can now again start harassing, and at least it's harder to hit you up here. Up here you can take this if you want to and really be annoying. Recall back up and then back out. So that really conducts it. There's so many flanking routes on this map, so there's not one way to go. First point has two normal flanks, which were either flanking the left side or the right side. Some people fight in main. I think I'm one of the weird tracers that normally do that. Here as well, a lot of people fight on left side, here on the third point. I personally like to fight here in first on the right, then go to the left, then continue the harassment to the left, and then continue to be behind them, and then try to get out. That's normally what I like to do. But you need to be very careful with a lot of these flanks, because a lot of them are very nice with these high grounds on top of here, the high ground on top of here, right? But they're also very risky, because a lot of time it's very easy for them to do a frag onto and just absolutely destroy you. And of course, here on the third phase, I personally like to fight on jail, and some people like to find this alley. Personally, I like jail side. It's much easier to spawn camp. It's much easier to control for you. So I hope this video helps. If it does, then like, and dislike if it doesn't. And as always, guys, I hope that you guys have a lovely, lovely gaming experience. My name has been Jonal. As always, guys, keep the enemy in your crosshair.